babies being pulled from dumpsters. I want what's best for my child, and it's not me. Firefighters are a different breed. We pull a dead infant from a river that will live with them for the rest of their life.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Ever Living Podcasts. We are your life-loving hosts, Xindi
and Jessica.
Welcome back, everyone. Hope you're having an awesome start to summer. And we have an amazing guest today. She does amazing work all over the country. She is the founder and CEO of Safe Haven Baby Boxes. Let's welcome Monica Kelsey. Welcome, Monica.
Oh, thank you guys so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yay.
We're so glad to have you here. I like your background. You have like a nice background.
I'm in my kitchen. It's like I'm between my kitchen and my living room. So
I love it. It's great. I love was it Gather? So it says in the background. Gather. Yeah. No, it's pretty. I like the lights too.
Thank you.
Oh, very cool. So yeah, we're so glad to have you here. And we would love to, if you could just tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and what led you to found Safe Haven Baby Boxes.
Yeah, I started Safe Haven Baby Boxes back in 2015 and launched my very first baby box in 2016. But the journey literally started over 50 years ago when a young 17-year-old girl was brutally attacked and raped and left along the side of the road. And this was a time in our country when abortion was illegal, even in the cases of rape and incest. And the 17-year-old girl, she pressed charges against this man, and he was arrested and he was charged. And if that wasn't the worst of it, when her life was finally getting back to normal, she found out she was pregnant, and she was hidden for the remainder of the pregnancy. And she gave birth in April of 1973 and abandoned her child 2 hours after that child was born. And that child was me. So I literally stand on the front lines of a movement, speaking for these moms who, some of them don't have a voice. And so I'll forever walk with these moms and as they choose something safe for their child, and I'll forever walk with these kids and share with them their worth. But Safe Haven Baby Boxes was birthed out of that. When Christ gives you a job, he puts you on a path. And so my path started all those years ago. And after high school, I joined the United States military, spent 8 years in the military. That's where I got my love for firefighting, and got out of the military, joined the fire service, and became a firefighter and a medic. And now I'm in fire stations every week. So Christ knew exactly what he was doing back in 1973 when I was born to get me to this point today.
Wow. So do you have a special connection when you go to fire stations that are installing a Safe Haven baby box? What is that friendship like?
See, it's a different breed. Firefighters are a different breed. We really are. I mean, we run into burning buildings, not even thinking of ourselves. And so we're on a different level, from everybody else. And there's a respect there. And so, and Christ knew I needed that respect. He knew that I needed to have the respect of the men and the women that were going to be in those fire stations taking these babies on. And so it's a different respect, but it's a different breed of, people. We're kind of I don't want to say elite, but we are elite. But we have the respect of each other that I needed. I really did need that. And Christ knew it. And that's why my life started in the fire service. So
yeah, because you have a beautiful testimony too. Yeah. Wow. I'm just amazed. That's such and the fact that you're giving back now to the movement, and really just trying to save lives is really beautiful. So sorry, Xindi, I cut you off.
Oh yeah, I was going to say, being a firefighter, every day you're laying your life down to rescue people, and so that's I think that's the sacrifice that.
Well, and I've always been on the front lines of something, military, I was on the front lines, firefighter, medic, I'm on the front lines. And now today I'm on the front lines. And I think Christ uses us, for such a time as this, when he needs us to stand up and be bold and be just, out there. This is my time. My time. And you look at the pro-life movement today, we're changing laws across this country, but we're not changing the culture. And the culture is still there. We're still having unplanned pregnancies. And now a woman can't go to an abortion facility and have an abortion in every state and city in this country, which we're thankful for. But we haven't changed the culture. And so this is still happening. And so for such a time as this, are these boxes needed more than ever in our country to keep these infants safe and these moms legal when they don't want or can't care for their newborn infants. And so I think the timing is perfect for this movement that we're traveling the country doing what we're doing for his glory.
Yeah. Monica, since 2015, can you say what has the journey been? Like, how has it grown? What has it looked like in the United States with Safe Haven baby boxes?
Well, I started in 2015, launched my very first baby box in 2016. The very first baby came in a box in 2017. The second baby came in 2018. And so far we have 447 active baby boxes across 26 states. We've had 79 babies in our boxes and 197 handoffs, and most of those at locations that have baby boxes, but it's through our hotline program. And so almost 300 women and 300 babies have come through the baby box program since we started in 2015. And sometimes I pinch myself because I never wanted to do this job. This was, I was perfectly happy being a firefighter and a medic. But when Christ gives you a job, you can either try and get off that road or out of that car, as I often say. But he's going to get you back in the car. He's going to get you back on the road. And eventually you're going to do this work. And so when I finally just stepped back and said, okay, kind of like Isaiah, here am I, Lord, use me. What do you want me to do? I was not prepared for what he wanted me to do, for starters. And I think that's normal for Christians who are asking, what do you want me to do? Because we're not going to be comfortable. And I think that's just normal for us to not be comfortable. But I'm just blessed to be able to do the work that we do. And how blessed am I that he chose me to be the front runner of this organization.
Awesome. That's beautiful. Could you tell, just for listeners, I'm realizing not everyone who's listening might not know what a Safe Haven baby box is or how it works. Could you just elaborate a little bit more on what it is exactly?
And maybe we have a photo we could put up.
Yeah, so the Safe Haven law has been around for 26 years, where a parent can walk into any fire station, hospital, police station, and hand their child to a person, no questions asked. What I did is I brought an anonymous way to do that very same thing. And they can place their baby in an electronically monitored baby box. So basically this box calls 911 on its own. A parent doesn't have to do anything except place their unharmed newborn inside, shut the door, and literally walk away. The box is calling 911. First responders on average are pulling these babies from these boxes within 2 minutes. They're heated. They lock once a baby's placed inside. And it is sometimes that lifeline, that last line of defense for an infant when a mother has exhausted all of her options. And we never want a mother to be the first line, or use us first. We want her to use us last, because there are better options out there than a Safe Haven baby box. But, we know that these moms are going to choose what they want to do. And we decided we're going to just support what they want. And so if a parent chooses a Safe Haven baby box, we're just going to say, thank you. Thank you for keeping your child safe, and thank you for trusting us to help you in your time of need. And that's what we all should be doing when a mother chooses something safe, because we're all for choice. We all want a mother to choose what is best for her, as long as it does not include the death of an infant. And this is a good choice. This is a safe choice for her and her baby. And so we just celebrate her when she chooses it, because she's being selfless. And a lot of parents, try to be good parents, knowing that they're not going to be good parents. And then something happens to the child, or they get the children taken away. These parents are stepping up to the plate ahead of time and saying, I want what's best for my child, and it's not me. And I'm going to trust that you're going to find a great set of parents for this child. And so that's what we promise them. We promise them anonymity, and that's what they get.
Monica, have you talked to the firefighters or first responders that have opened the box and received the baby, or handed a baby? Like what was their feeling in that moment?
That is the funniest thing to watch, is having them talk to you about pulling a baby from a box, because these are big, rough bulky guys that, will run into a burning building, but you put a baby in a box and they crumble. I was at a fire station yesterday that had a baby surrendered in their box last month. And I was talking to the gentleman that actually pulled the baby from the box. The alarm went off and he's sitting there going, I need to go get some guys. So he didn't even go to the box right away. He went and got the other firefighters and then went to the box, still had the baby out of the box within 2 minutes. But it's funny because they won't go by themselves. And it's like, this is just a newborn infant. But again, it goes back to the different breed that we are. We go in doubles. We don't go in singles, we go in doubles. And so even to a baby box, they're going in doubles. And, but to hear them, talk about this yesterday, it just brings a smile to my face because they mentioned out of all of the runs that they have ever been on, this is by far the best run that they have ever had. And so it's bringing life into the world, and so for them, they see death all the time, and to see life, it's just such a beautiful thing.
That's precious. Wow. So I'm curious. So after the baby is placed in the box and the first responders come and get the baby, what happens after that? You said you make sure that the baby's placed with a good family. So what does that process look like?
So we don't get involved in that. Okay. Christ gave me the job of saving these babies and allowing these babies to be, placed, whether it be through the state's child services or through an adoption agency. But we follow the state statute, and in the state of New Hampshire, okay. The firefighters will pull baby from box, give immediate medical care, take baby to the hospital. The hospital then gets the Department of Child Services involved, and the Department of Child Services comes and takes custody of this infant and then starts to look for a forever family for this baby. In the history of the safe haven law, which is, 26 years, no baby has ever not been adopted through the safe haven program, or if they went back to their biological family. So if the biological mother comes back and says, hey, I've made a mistake, there are some of these moms that do get their babies back. But the babies that don't go back to their biological family, they all have been adopted. And so the process works. These babies are loved from the moment that they are handed to a firefighter or placed in a box to the moment that they get to their forever family. The process is working.
Wow. Awesome. And Monica, can you talk about maybe bipartisan support for this? The country feels very divided, but what is the unity behind safe haven baby boxes?
Safe haven baby boxes doesn't take a stand on being pro-life or pro-choice. We as individuals, of course, do, because we want people to understand that we can't divide this issue. This is a baby that is born. This isn't a baby in the womb. This is a baby that is born. And if we can't come together and say that a child that is born deserves to be protected, then we are not on the same level at all. And I think all of humanity would say that a baby that is born should be protected. And so we should be coming together on this issue and not being pro-life or pro-choice when a baby is already here. I mean, I can have the discussion about a baby in the womb all day long and have great arguments about why that baby should be protected. But the babies that we're getting, they're already here. And I think both sides of the aisle can come together on that issue.
Yeah, I'm curious, have you seen that? Have there been maybe more left-leaning states that have been supportive of safe haven baby boxes? Has that trend changed since 2015? Have they been accepted more over time? What does that look like?
They are being more accepted over time. I mean, and I brought this to America. This had never been done in American history before. And so I had to get people to wrap their heads around the fact that putting a baby in a box is a good thing when the alternative is a dumpster. And people weren't letting me finish that sentence at the beginning, because I said a baby box is a good option, and they would stop me right there. They wouldn't let me finish the sentence. The alternative is the dumpster. We have to look at that. And so through the years, they see the stories. We post the stories of babies being pulled from dumpsters. There was a baby a couple of days ago left in a parking lot in Illinois, placenta and everything still attached. And it's like, you see those stories, we're putting them out there and we're saying, here's the solution. This is what we need to do to fix this problem. And so there are states, though, some, states that are totally pro-life that have kind of pushed back a little bit. which I never really understood that. But then you have New Mexico, which is one of the worst states in the country for abortion rights. And the governor, she is for abortion up until the day of delivery, shows up at my blessing, supporting these boxes. And so it really, it's kind of like both ways. But again, these babies are born. We should all be on the same level when a baby is already here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Go ahead. Can you talk about your experience coming to New Hampshire and the Manchester Fire Department? What was that day like on my birthday?
Manchester, they get it. They understand it because they've had an infant found deceased in their community. And so for a firefighter to pull a dead infant from a river, that will live with them for the rest of their life. The first responders, yet alone everybody else, the first responders that were on scene will never let that leave their mind. And so that trauma, we have to look at that as well. The firefighters there, they get it. They don't want to do that again. And so they were immediately looking for a solution. And that's when they found us. And now they have an option for a parent that doesn't want or can't care for their newborn infant to bring this baby to them and let them take care of this baby from the moment this parent wants to relinquish their rights. And so Manchester, we didn't have to convince them of anything because they already knew that the alternative was not good. And so they jumped on board, and now they became the first location in the state of New Hampshire to have a baby box. I don't think it's going to take a year for that baby box to be used. I just don't. Wow. I think Christ brought that to them and used that infant that was found in the river as a launching pad for this program to come to that state.
Yeah, no, I'm really happy that it's in New Hampshire now, and it's sad that a baby had to have been abandoned for that to it's too bad that didn't happen beforehand, that they didn't pass the law to allow for baby boxes beforehand, but it's so good that it exists now. And so another question I have is, so what does it take to get a baby box implemented somewhere, so within your state? Like, say we have a listener who's really interested in putting a baby box in locally. How would they go about doing that?
First thing to do is contact us, and we'll give you what we call an informational packet, because we need you to know what you're getting yourself into. It's not easy. It's not easy getting a box in. It's not just raising money, shipping a box, and opening it up. I mean, there's training that goes involved. There's so many steps that have to be taken. But the number one thing is the fire station has to want to do it. If the fire station does not want to do it, you might as well just turn around, because they're not going to take care of the program because it's voluntary. Nobody has to do the program. But they have to be on board. And like Manchester was on board because they had a dead infant in their community. They didn't need convincing. They already seen the alternative. And so, but some locations haven't pulled a dead infant from a dumpster. And so you have to get them to understand that having a box is better, than needing a box and not having it. Because if that box isn't there and you need a mother that wants to use one, you might find another infant in that community deceased. Because we can do everything except walk her up to that fire station. We can talk to her on the phone. We can answer the phone. We can give her every resource out there, but she has to use her own feet to get there. And so, but those locations that want to do the program, we want to partner with you, because the more resources that a parent has, the more chances they have of choosing something safe. The more resources you put in front of a mother that is safe, she'll pick the best one for her, because she really has to live with this for the rest of her life. And so making sure that she knows all of her options, which is parenting, an adoption plan, a safe surrender, or a baby box, those options need to be explained to her so she can choose what's best, because the baby box is not a good option. It's only a good option if it's the last option this parent has left.
Let's see if we can pull up the website. It's www.shbb.org. And Monica, can you let's tell us what we're looking at.
The one thing that I wanted this website to do was to direct a mom if she needed it without her having to call us or anything. And so if you see that at the top, it says SHBB locations. If you click on that, there's a map. And so you punch in your zip code and it brings the closest baby box up to you. And so, and she can then use, the Google Maps or whatever to get to this location. But it's very simple. I had to make it simple for some of these moms to be able to do it. We want them to have this lifeline, and sometimes having this lifeline is critical for a mother. So it is very simple. You just punch in your zip code and it'll bring you right up.
Wow. 117 in Indiana?
We actually have 157 in Indiana. That's just
goodness.
That area there.
That's
how many babies have been saved in Indiana?
39 in Indiana alone.
Wow.
Yeah, but Indiana was the very first state we launched in. In Indiana, we were finding 2 babies dead a year in our state prior to baby boxes. We launched baby boxes. We have them all over the state now. And in the last 10 years, we've only had 1 baby that was found abandoned in the state of Indiana in the last 10 years. And we've had 39 babies in boxes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's almost like every single fire station in Indiana has a baby box.
Not totally, but there are a lot of them.
You're getting there.
You have to drive very far to get to one in Indiana, but that's key, though. A woman gives birth at home. We don't want her driving very far, and so in Indiana, we have every place covered. We actually just had a baby today. We can't name the location yet because we give it quite a few weeks, but
today in Indiana.
Today in Indiana.
Wow. Okay. Well, where are we going next? Looks like South Carolina, Georgia.
Going to move to the Northeast. Where's the North? The Northeast is now we have one in New Hampshire, and there's one in Maine too, right?
There is one in Maine. Yep, and then we're getting a second one in Maine before long. So wherever Christ takes us is where we're going, and we're going to be launching in the state of Georgia this year. So Georgia will come up with some locations, and then Alaska, we're waiting on the governor to sign the bill in Alaska. So states are just grabbing hold and going. It's a beautiful thing.
Wow.
Yeah, so I know, Monica, amazing. I know we have to wrap up soon, but I wanted to ask you a question related to that legislation. So if correct me if I'm wrong, basically the safe haven law, states have to amend the law essentially, right, to say that they can have safe haven baby boxes, right?
That is correct. Yep. They have to allow for an anonymous surrender in an electronically monitored baby box.
Okay. So I know in my state, I actually live in Connecticut, that's not a part of our law. And at one point earlier this year, I was actually meeting with a Republican legislator who he was supportive of the idea for the most part, but he had questions about the technology of the box. And he was like, well, how do we know that the box actually works? Like, is it tested ahead of time? Like, why can't people just go in and hand their baby off to a firefighter rather than putting it in a box that we don't know if it's going to work? So could you address that question? Because I to be honest, I had trouble answering that. I didn't know the answer to that question. So
the baby box is tested through multiple stages, and the alarms on the baby box are not connected to each other. That's one of the safety features of the box. So if the door alarm, so when mom opens that outside door, the first alarm goes off. If that fails, we have a second alarm when baby's placed inside. If that fails, we have another one. So there's 3 fail safes on every baby box. So if one was to fail, which electronics fail, and we know that's why we've put 3 fail safes on this box. To date, we've never had a box fail. A baby has never been left in a box because the box failed. The fire departments actually test the box weekly and do 2 visual checks daily. So daily, this box is being looked at. And then we also, I wanted oversight on these boxes, because if a box was going to fail, I wanted to make sure that we did everything possible to make sure that it wouldn't fail. And so every year, our guys are actually out at every location in America. All 447 are going to see one of my employees, and they go through the box. So the fire department does it weekly. We do it yearly. And like I said, if there's a problem, they have a protocol to follow. But we have to trust our firefighters. We have to trust that they're doing the job of making sure that this box is active, that this box is working properly, because they'll call us if it's not. And what we do is we down the box if the box is having an issue, and we put a sign that says "Do not use" on it, and then we lock the outside door. So there are strict protocols in place for if a box ever goes down. But as I said, no box has ever failed an infant yet. And that's something that we're very proud of because we take safety very seriously. This box has to work 100% of the time. It cannot fail. And so that is our number one priority with these boxes, is making sure that they don't fail.
Very cool. Wow. Very cool. I'm gonna send the legislator this episode and be like, here's your answer.
There's your answer. Yeah.
So very cool. That's great. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I have a question. Like, how do you increase awareness that the Safe Haven Baby Box is in the community, and that mothers can use it, find it? Yeah.
So the biggest thing for us is social media. We're not going to reinvent the wheel. I'll tell you, Planned Parenthood is master marketers. So if you want to be a master marketer, do what they do. Social media is huge for them. Billboards are huge for them. And that's what we do. So we're out there on billboards. We're out there. We have radio channels that say a little blurb about us. But social media is the number one thing that is getting to these moms. Our TikTok channel has 1.3 million followers. I know TikTok is a very controversial thing, but I have to be where these mothers are. And these mothers are on TikTok. And so Facebook, we have 700,000 followers. We do so much education on both of these channels that our stuff is constantly being shared. And then we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, we're not on Snapchat because I don't think that's a good place for us to be. But the education and awareness, more people today are aware of the Safe Haven law simply because of our social media accounts than ever before. No Safe Haven organization out there has ever done what we've been able to do in the last 10 years, in the last 25. We've been able to connect with these parents, connect with these young adults, educating them to make sure that they know abandonment rates across this country are lowering for the first time in American history. And it is because of the social media aspect of it, of getting the education out there. Sometimes you got to be funny. Sometimes you got to be stupid. Sometimes you got to be, like ridiculous. I have a three-legged dog, and my three-legged dog hits some of these TikToks because people will watch it. So you've got to do what works. And so if you go to our TikTok channel, just watch some of these stupid videos. It's comical, but it's also educational. And that's what people need to see.
Okay, awesome. What is the channel?
That's awesome.
Safe Haven Baby Boxes or Monica Kelsey or Baby Box Lady. Those three things will get
Baby
you.
Box Lady. I love it.
Awesome.
That's great. Well, Monica, you're doing awesome work. Thank you. I mean, the Lord is totally using you, and it's so beautiful. So, yeah, but thank you so much for coming on the pod. And do you have a Bible verse that you wanted to share with our listeners?
Oh, gosh. So my favorite Bible verse, knowing my story, is Genesis 50:20. You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. And I think that verse was written just for me.
I'd say so. That's awesome. Wow.
All right. Everybody go support Safe Haven Baby Boxes. Let's get them double, triple, quadruple.
Yes.
Everywhere, every state.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Monica.
Thank you, Monica.
Have a great weekend.
Thanks. You guys do the same.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Be ever living. God bless you.
Thank you for listening to the Ever Living podcast, a podcast by New Hampshire Right-to-Life, New Hampshire's oldest and most active pro-life organization. You can learn more about our work and learn how to get involved at www.nhrtl.org. If you would like to donate to our mission, you can make a donation at www.nhrtl.org/donate. See you next week. May God bless you and be very near to you, and may you be ever living.